night. Are you ready?
Are you ready for the podcast? Whole lot we gon' broadcast. Dropping gems, these are all facts. Shooting flicks like Men in Black. Are you ready for the podcases? Hitting every spot, Dalmatian. Taking off like a spaceship. Podcast is not basic. 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 Let's go. Podcast is not basic.
Yo. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's up, man? Happy Sunday.
Hey, man, what's good, man? Welcome everybody. Welcome to episode 19 of Podcases, A Different World, HBCU Experience. Yo, you got your man here, Fifth.
Your boy CY.
Yo, man, welcome, man. You know, we the originators of Opinionated-Facts. Thanks for everybody for joining us on this Super Sunday. Excited to be here. It's a great show. Looking forward to it. How you doing, my brother?
Man, feeling good, man. We got this could be possibly be one of our best shows, man.
I foresee that. Just the conversation, and like I said, we often talk about the conversations we have prior to the show. The one we had just prior to the show was like a little party, bro, and it was an absolute pleasure. You know what I'm saying? It just the magnitude of the individuals that we're gonna bring before you, whatever. It's an absolute thing, man. So I'm excited, man, and I'm humbled, and I'm feeling great, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Me too, man.
Yeah, man. So you know, it seemed like it's been a while since I gazed into your eyes. It's been a while since I gazed into your eyes, Si.
Hey now. Chill out, man.
What's been good, man? What's been good, bro?
Man, everything, man. Everything is good, man. Work is good. You know, just you know, getting it done, man. A chance to spend some time with my boys this weekend, man. Hung out at one of those ranches that people go to and sometimes get attacked by animals. We got a chance to go to one of those. But man, everything's good, man. Before we get too far gone, man, I wanted to give a salute, man, to all the people from 9/11, man. You know, that was yesterday, and you know, I've been kind of broadcasting all week. That is such a fascinating, still a fascinating story to me, man, of how all of that happened, man, and so tragic. You know, all the lives that were lost. I had to go back through this week, yesterday actually, and I was looking at because I forgot the actual amount. You know, it was over 2,000 people. Yeah. But I was able to see somebody had an illustration. And it was of, you know, false, of course, but it was of some people like talking in one of the World Trade Center buildings on a high floor, and it just showed like the airplane headed towards the window, man, and it just like stopped me, like wow, like you know what I'm saying? That is just, man, and it's hard to believe. It's also hard to believe it's been 20 years since that happened, man.
One of the most profound things about situations that happen of that magnitude and of that tragic state, you never forget where you were or what you were doing at the time that happened.
Never.
You know what I'm saying? I never forget. I was on the phone with a young lady at a company I used to work with, and she just said, you know, she just happened to just mention matter of factly, and she was in the New York area. She was like, well, you know, I think the plane just hit the building in New York. I'm like, oh, okay. We was like, oh, okay. We was like matter of fact with it. It is an absolute tragic event that you will never forget where you were at the time that happened. And again, it's been 20 years. And the funny thing about this is when I was living in New York, I took my oldest daughter to the new World Trade Center, the World Trade One, I believe it's called. And we went down there, and in the foyer of the new World Trade Center, they actually have some of the old building, some of the steel parts and everything that's been like crazy, like like a museum type of what it once was. So God bless everybody you know, that lost their lives and all of that, but it was a tragic event, man. It'll be a day I never forget, you know.
Oh man, like I mean, like watching like the when they show like the news coverage, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, when that second plane hit, that shit was crazy. Like, nobody knew what to say. Like, pretty much any news station, any recap that you watch, the anchor is just speechless. Like, wait,
Mhm.
it's another one. You know what I'm saying? And then to see those buildings crumbling, man. I mean, I know you worked in New York, a few years back, man. I do a lot of work in DC. You can't imagine, like, on your commute. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're downtown and something like that happens, man. Like, and I don't forget, but the people in the Pentagon, same way, man. There were a lot of people who lost their lives in the Pentagon, and just goodness gracious, man. The older you get, I guess the more you say, wow, this is, I mean, that is as unbelievable, I think, of a thing that I have seen in my life, I think.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, and like I said, just uh the amount of time that has passed since that has happened. You know what I'm saying? We've essentially had three presidents already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bush Jr., Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. They just give you and each in two of those serve for two terms. So just the magnitude of the time that has passed. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And what went down that whole day just was something like just kind of froze everybody like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like what no one knew what was next. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. People give George Bush Jr. a lot of shit for when the guy came in and told him that in his ear and he just sat there.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
I'm like, what the fuck was he supposed to do? I'm like, he was sitting there like, damn, because I know I would be like,
there's a Netflix series, and the guy tells, at first, the person who reported to him said a crop duster plane had hit the World Trade Center, and he was like, oh man, hope hope everybody's okay. Crop duster plane, a couple people probably died, and then the lady tells him, wait, another one. And then he goes to the president and says, America is under attack. It just seemed like a movie title, right? Like,
yeah,
America's under, and yeah, Bush is just sitting there like, I mean, but what would you do, right? You know what I mean? Like, what would you do? So,
like I said, I wouldn't want to be in that position, man, where I have to get up and everybody scrutinize my first initial reaction to anything. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Let alone being attacked by just being attacked. Somebody telling you're being attacked. Like, okay, what the
Right.
that wasn't in my briefing, you know what I'm saying, this morning. So but like salute to the firefighters, the EMS workers, the police and everything that were down there, that helped out, and God bless everyone who lost their lives. It was an absolute tragic event. And man, it's been, like I say, it's been a long time, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
R.I.P. to all those people, man. Prayers to the families. I'm sure you never get over a situation like that.
Nah, man. And the funny thing about that is, when you were speaking about DC just now, I just realized, like, the coming up in a couple of days, by a couple of days, DC's on alert again. They're having another rally scheduled for MAGA, and they're scheduling another rally. They don't know how big this rally is going to be, but they kind of doubled, tripled, quadrupled the police presence.
I tell you what, the cops will be ready this time. I bet you that. I'm telling you, man, from the people that all the people that had to, quote unquote, fall on the sword and lost jobs, and I mean, God forbid, I mean, some people lost lives behind that rally. I guarantee you they will be ready this time. Wasn't no National Guard there last time. They are ready if it's a rally coming. Yeah.
Well, one of the most amazing things about that whole deal is now that they're going through Senate hearings, congressional hearings, and all that about this, whatever, and just and everyone's looking for answers. See, it seems when you form a committee like that, a congressional committee and things of that nature, you're looking for answers. You're looking for because it usually happens after a massive, either tragic event like with the Warren Commission, with JFK, 9/11 Commission after like 9/11, things of that nature. With this one here, the January 6th Commission, they're looking for answers, and
Yeah.
and the most one of the most I want to choose my words carefully here. It's fucked up. The fucked up part about this is the Republicans and certain members are blaming the police. for this one, saying it's
Yeah.
not the people that's been charged or whatever, or just what have you. They're blaming the police because they didn't have enough police down there.
Right.
They're not blaming these animals.
No.
They're blaming the police.
I saw somebody just got 4 years yesterday. The guy who had like the bullhorn thing on or something.
They got a lot of preferential treatment though. Those guys got some preferential treatment, man.
I got a call about one of those cases, man.
Really?
Oh yeah, I did. And the guy was aggressive. And I love getting into a controversial case. I had to sit that one out.
See, I don't think I took you as a non-conspiracy, confrontation, but you didn't take that case.
Nah, I didn't, man. It was actually a situation where the guy was hiring another lawyer, but he wanted me to act as their local counsel, and I didn't want my name anywhere on it.
I get that, bro. I get that. I saw that where a lot of the guys they were getting arrested like in their home state and being extradited back to I guess DC or what have you. So it's one of those things where people kind of get fixed up into situations like that and just see what happens, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I get that, man. So I get why people would be kind of like stand backish from situations like that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to stand for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So
well, look, I mean, today's show, it had the solemn time for 9/11. Let's pick it back up. Today's show is about HBCUs, man. So I'm gonna tell you this story, okay? So, sometime around August '95, right? Sometime between the 15th and 20th, okay?
Right.
I'm at Shaw University. I'm on the 7th floor. I think my room number is 702, right? So I go next door, right? I think next door is probably, if I'm 702, next door might be 704, 706. I can't remember. So I see this guy staring out, sitting in a chair. There's nothing in his room, staring out the window. Yo, what this dude doing? He's like a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? So the guy said, "Oh, man, I'm looking at this chick right here. Looking out the window because you got a full view of the courtyard at Shaw University, right? I'm like 18. So the guy ends up being you.
Oh, really, man?
My next door neighbor. Like, yo. I'm like, yo, so what's your name, yo?
Yeah.
Where you say, yo, my name is Fifth, F-I-F.
I don't remember that, man. I don't remember that, man.
Who is F-I-F?
I don't remember that, man.
I can tell you exactly who the girl was. I'll tell you offline.
Oh, yeah, please do. Please do.
I'm like, yo, man, F, this guy's crazy. So we talk, man. You tell me you from South Carolina, blah, blah, blah. And I remember, man, eventually we became roommates. One time, we went down to A&T. You had the Honda SC. We went down to homecoming, man, and just, had a good time, man. And we met other people, and we just ended up becoming, being tight. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Then we ended up being roommates the next year. That was my first year. Second year, we ended up being roommates, and we lived in room 315 of the old dorms. You know what I'm saying?
Salute the 315, baby. Salute the 315.
At that time, we were, both at HBCUs. We were both pledging Black Greek letter organizations. We had a good time, man. And because of Shaw University, I met some of my best friends, but more so than meeting my best friends, man, I learned how to dream, and I learned that dreams were attainable. You know what I'm saying? So it was a thing to see somebody on campus and realize, people would be whispering like, yo, he got a job at Merrill Lynch. They got a job here. They got it. And you start thinking like, wait, this ain't just fun. Like you can do something like, bro. I remember, and I don't even know if I've ever told you this. Tell you on camera. I hope you don't start crying. You'll tear up. So
Oh, most
So
people.
I'm saying when you meet people, and I remember, dog, when you got the job, the first job you got in Atlanta. I won't shout out the company,
Yeah.
but I remember when you told me, you said, "Yo, Sai, you won't believe what they paying me because I don't believe what they paying me." I was like, "What?" Like, dog, when me and Chris came down to Atlanta to move you in your house,
Yeah.
at that time,
Yeah.
that was the biggest house I had ever been in.
Yeah,
And I was
man.
like, yo, this is my roommate, yo. Like, it was just, people don't understand that, man. It's like, it's not only a time for fun, but you make the connections and you learn, man, you can do whatever because people on this campus, people that you go to the calf with, people that you hang out with, people that you pledge with, people that you play ball with, they doing whatever, man. And it's just amazing, man. It's just amazing. And you was one of those guys for me, man. Like, yo, this dude, like one of the first people I knew, like, yo, he gonna have fun, but he handled his business. Like when we were in school, you had a real job. And he was like a cameraman, like for real. But like it wasn't like like I was working at the Gap. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
You were making grown people money with grown people responsibilities, yo.
Yeah, man. And funny you told that story. I got uh when I was I just got out the military. I did a little time in the military, like a year or something. It just wasn't for me, right? And I was trying to figure out what my next steps were. And I applied to the University of South Carolina in Columbia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And although I applied a little late, they say, well, we can't accept you for the fall, but we can bring you in for the spring semester. I'm like, like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of just whatever. And my mom introduced me to a gentleman at her church. Um, he's a great guy. He worked at Shaw U at the time, whatever. And he told me about Shaw. Cause my mom said, hey, my son, he's got a military. The guy said, what you doing right now? I said, well, I'm going to college. But he said, well, where you going? He told me, but he told me about Shaw. And I'll be honest, I never heard of Shaw, but he told me about it. And he basically sold it to me in an elevator speech, right? And I was like, okay, all right, cool. So I went on, I kind of went and got some information. At that time, you can't go online.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just had to call and get a package sent to you, right?
Right.
I don't know if you remember that. So
I do.
yeah, so they sent me out a package to apply. And I filled out the information and I was like, yeah, whatever. I set on going to UNC because I was already accepted. I wouldn't have to sit out just to whatever. But I got a letter back in the mail after I sent all my information in and say, yo, you got accepted, whatever, man. And this fast forwarding, when I got there and I started meeting people and things of that nature, I just felt just from the faculty and everybody that was around, whatever, you can do, like you mentioned, bro, you can do anything you want to do, bro. It's just there. The sky's the limit. People just whatever. And in town, even now, it's a family, bro. You know what I'm saying? You post something on internet, on Facebook, and everybody put like Shaw U fam, just whatever. Every HBCU does that. You know what I'm saying? It's just one big ass family, bro. And how everybody's doing. And with Deion Sanders coming back, whatever doing, it's just like, yo, HBCUs are the shit, bro.
Yeah,
if you didn't know, you know now, right? You know now. So
I remember we're gonna get off of this, but I remember, man, sitting in the room with you one time and we were talking to our boy. I wish I knew his name, but we used to call him Fubu because he wore Fubu all the time.
Yeah, I know Bro quite well. I remember that quite well.
He told us, he said, yeah, man, I got an internship this summer at NASA.
I remember
I was
that
like,
day.
wait, dude walk around in jeans, baggy jeans and Fubu. They're going to work at NASA? And I think that's when I remembered, like, I think that's the first time I realized, like, yo, this shit is cool to be smart.
Yeah.
Like, just being dumb, not going to class, that ain't cool.
It ain't cool, man.
To be smart is cool. Like, I tell one of my bros right now, man, I tell Jermaine Simmons all the time. Me and Jermaine are in a group called BAM together. I tell Jermaine all the time, like, yo, I didn't even really know you like that. But the word around campus was that you got a job at Merrill Lynch in New York.
Right.
Like, dog, it pushed everybody else to be like, yo, I can do it from here. And the one thing, like you said, every HBCU does this. But the one thing that we have in common at Shaw is, one, we're family. We're a tight-knit family. And two, we were the first in the South to do it. Y'all see my hat, Shaw University, 1865. Raleigh,
Yeah,
North Carolina, and plenty of institutions, including the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University, which is now the largest HBCU in the country. It was born in the basement of one of our buildings.
yeah, man. I remember.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I know that because you tell me this all the time. You like a Google HBCU, a Google historian, bro. You have a lot of facts, and you don't
Right.
realize you be spitting this stuff out. But you're like a see. My internal Google memory is all about just straight bullshit. Sometimes you just have a focus. You have a focus HBCU, and I'm impressed by that. Real talk, dog. You really know your stuff about that, and when you put and let me tell you everybody like this. Sai's amazing doing all the putting our shows together and stuff like that, bro. I mean, this is his niche. He does an outstanding job, and you're gonna see that here today. But I have to say this really quick here. When I came to Shaw, I had a taste of the real world. A lot of times when you go to school, you go straight from high school to college, and you don't get a taste. I got punched in the mouth with the real world right out of high school because I thought I was a badass and I knew what the fuck I want to do. My mom like, okay, go ahead, go ahead and do that. And I did it. And she allowed me to did it. That was one of the best decisions she's ever made about me in my life. She let me say, go ahead and do it then. You know what you're doing? Go ahead and do it. And I did it and I got punched in the mouth. So when you saw me around Shaw with those jobs, I got a taste of the real world and I wasn't trying to play those games no more. You know what I'm saying? So I embrace my opportunity with Shaw. My daughter does all the time. That's not where you go, is you make out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? I try to formulate and do what I could, make Shaw work for me, and it did. It worked for me in ways I can't even get into, man. So salute to Shaw University for giving me the opportunity to do what I need to do. Salute to the HBCUs. Yo, it's a beautiful thing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, and last thing before we bring on our first guest, man, you probably don't remember. I remember we were roommates, man, going through some stuff.
As we frequently did.
I was almost on crackhead status as I was going to sell some CDs or my VCR or something. I think I asked you for a ride. You know what you told me? You know what you told me?
What I told you, man?
You said, yo, if you ever make it, bro, you got a hell of a story. Yo, I have never forgotten that, bro. I have never forgotten that.
Yo, man, I don't know. I was seeing side like, it's some stories I could tell you about this brother here, man. And let me tell you something, man. I'm super proud of this brother, man. I really am, man. I mean, and one thing about him, he's a very humble guy. But I can tell you some stories about this guy, and I can and you wouldn't believe where he started to where he is now, bro.
Don't tell those stories.
No, man. Man, the world needs to know this, because when I see you go out there and sometimes you don't talk much about it, and this is an amazing thing to me. You don't talk much about it, but I see with the work that you do. But I'm more impressed with the work you have done to get to. You know what I'm saying? Because I've known you when I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna be honest. I've known you when you didn't have shit, bro. Seriously, I've known. And to where you got to where you are right now, bro. The work you put in, no one gave you shit. I can tell you this, man. No one gave you shit. And the work you put in to get to where you were, to where you are now, from you asking me to take you to a pawn shop to pawn your shit, to where you are now, bro, man. If the world don't know, they need to know about how you rock that shit, bro. And I salute you on that. It ain't about whatever, man. Bro. But yo, man, you're a phenomenal brother. And I assume, Shaw, you had a lot to do with it. I assume these HBCUs had a lot to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, you matriculated up. You know what I'm saying? You showed the world how badass you are, and you're a phenomenal attorney, bro. So salute to you and everything you've done, and how you continue to pull back and build and pour into Shaw University on a daily basis, not on an annual basis, not on a semi-annual basis. This brother and his group, and we need to. I'm holding you accountable. You need to get those guys on here. The work that you have done to this is the slogan I always use. Push me and I'll pull. You know what I'm saying? You push me, I'm gonna pull you up with me. You know what I'm saying? And you're the epitome of that. and sure, you had a lot to do with it, man. But I sat in the passenger seat of your life for the most part, or at least in the back seat, and saw you do what you do, my brother. So salute to
Appreciate
you
that, bro.
and everything you have done, my man. So I gotta assume, sure, you had a lot to do with that, and me and you in those rooms at night talking about, damn, we hitting rock bottom here. You know what I'm saying? So salute to you, brother. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel that doing this type of show is super important. You know what I'm saying? And that it makes sense to do it. You know, so that having you come on and we you kind of put this whole show together and we talk about it and do this stuff right here. It's a great thing, man. So um I'm super excited to do it today. HBCUs just kind of bring me back and make me feel a certain kind of way about life and give me opportunities that I've never thought I would have any other way, and I get that all the time. So I'm just happy for today. I was looking forward to this one, and I'm happy about today. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So it's good, bro. You ready?
I'm ready, bro. Let's get it.
Mm-hmm. So like I said, man, we're gonna do some love to HBCUs, and we're gonna talk about HBCUs, man. So one of the very first guest we're gonna bring on, so you want to introduce her, man?
So we're bringing somebody who I've been knowing since about actually met her when she was in high school, because I know her brother, and if you went to Shaw, you know her dad. But we're gonna bring on Miss Stacy Sewell, who is director of admissions and recruitment at South Carolina State University. She used to do it at Shaw U. We let a good one get away. We might get her back. We don't know. We're gonna try. But hey, this for all the parents know this, and we know this. She at one point she becomes the most important person in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? She makes it happen, because we couldn't tell these stories if somebody didn't give us a shot. And sometimes she has to do it, and I know she does it because she's done it for me before when she was at Shaw. She will give you that shot. She'll make sure you can make it. She can make it happen for you. Let's welcome Stacy to the show, man. She's great person, a sister of Alpha Kappa Alpha, former Chi Shaw U Bell, and now she's down there in Orangeburg making it happen.
Yes. Salute to you, Stacy. Good evening to you. How you doing? Yeah, welcome to the Podcases. Thanks for taking the challenge to come on and spread your wings so we can salute you and get and pour love into you and tell you all the just tell the world about the magnificent work you have done and what you're doing now. And we just want to salute you and thank you for pouring back into HBCUs and in the Palmetto State of South Carolina. My sister, she's an alum of South Carolina State University. She tells me that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, so Stacey, just thank you for coming on.
Oh, our love for having me.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about what you do and what you do down in South Carolina State as a director of admissions and recruitment down there.
Almost 18 years now. I started out just as a graduate assistant in residence life, skipped over to 2009, and I started kind of started my career over to March 2009. I started at Shaw as an admissions counselor, which is an entry-level position. So it was like a career refresh, if you will. And worked my way to director of admissions in 2014 at Shaw. After a couple sister who was on the cabinet of South Carolina State was like, "Hey, come down here." Been here for 2 years. So what
South
we
Carolina.
do as director of admissions is, I mean, actually, I don't. Not quite as hands-on with the actual admissions process. Office, I write recruitment plan, enrollment plans for the institution. I'm a number cruncher now, so I'm looking at iPads data and reading professional journals to see how we can do stuff better. That's, analyzing processes and making our processes better.
Okay.
That's salute to you. Salute to you. Like I said, South Carolina State has a little part in my heart. My sister, like I said, she went there and whatever, and I heard a lot about it. That was my first real experience with HBCUs outside of a different world. You know what I'm saying? My first real experience, because she went there and she came back home, always told stories about things of that nature. So salute to you, Stacy. So when you're the director of admissions and recruitment, so when a student comes in, kind of give parents an idea of what they should be expecting with the with a student starting to think about college and enrollment and stuff like that.
So if you have a student that's thinking about college, I would say that process really should start around the 8th or 9th grade. Doesn't always that way, but your child can take. You want to take a math beyond Algebra 2. Make sure you have all 4 of your English units, at least 3 social science. And you want to have at least 3 lab sciences. So physical science doesn't count, lab science, most places, maybe biomedical science or something like that. Just take the hardest classes your child can stand. We like dual enrollment credits as well, because they're just easier to deal with on the college level, but yeah.
Right. So I got a question for you, Stacy. Now I know a lot of times, how can I put this? A lot of times we are coming to HBCUs and we're not doing what we're supposed to do, and we apply April of our senior year, and we want to be in by August, and we ain't did no financial aid and nothing like that. I understand. That was me. So I understand that. But for when you're, because I mean, people don't realize this, but HBCUs have some of the best and brightest. So when you're recruiting against, say, a USC, how are you going into that, or what are you able to tell the parent when they say, "Hey, well, why should I send my kid to Orangeburg rather than to send them to Columbia?" And if money's off the table, we're not talking about scholarship. Kid will probably get a full ride anywhere. Is that harder, or is the kid who has a 1.9 and he graduates in June and he's trying to apply in April, which is harder for you as in your position?
Well, so one of my former coworkers, who's a Shaw grad, taught me to not worry about the USC. So you put it in USC, we're still going to come out winning. So I really don't care. So the student that has choices is difficult. But I would say only is more difficult than actually recruiting the student. Colleges and universities more online. They're shopping, they're seeing whose campus is lit on Instagram. So they know what they want, what kind of experience they want. Parents. It's, is the campus safe? They ask about accreditation all the time. And most people who are parents really don't know what that means, other than it means you can't, if you don't have it,
yeah, we found it the hard way.
Or financial aid, but parents out college, or who's more difficult to recruit than a student.
Okay. And so now I got to ask you, because I told you this pre-show, South Carolina State. I'm a Greensboro guy, so I'm used to A&T, and I know you have a master's from A&T, currently working on your doctorate. But South Carolina State, I don't know how much they are now. Used to be known for athletics. Now, what's the pressure with that? With coach calling over there like, "Hey, Stacy, I got this 6'5" quarterback with a 1.2." Well, he got to be here in August. Matter of fact, he already here. What's the situation kind of with that? Is that something different, or is that still how the HBCUs are working?
Well, first off, South Carolina State has the most MEAC championships out of all of MEAC schools.
I knew that was coming. Hey, she was prepared for that one. I saw that one coming, bro. You walked into that one, but go ahead.
That. We also have 119 professional athletes. So, all right. Oh, wow. And we also have more Hall of Famers. We have more Hall of Famers in the NFL Hall of Fame than USC and Clemson combined.
Wow. I
didn't know that. I did not know that. So
just let you know. Coaches don't do it. Yeah. I think I'm not sure if it's Clemson or USC that doesn't have any NFL Hall of Famers. We have 4. So.
Wow. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. I'm worried about them being admissible or not. The transfer portal is hot these days. So, kind of what with our students, making sure that they meet the percentage, be eligible immediately. So that's a real and that's nothing on the student. I would say the parents of athletes who are are taking, because coaches make, and I know you're gonna have a coach on later, but coaches work with practice and keep the student eligible. But if then they enter the transfer portal and they've got 12 hours of Google basics, you can't do anything with it, and 70 hours. So it's hard to get 70 hours, and it's 70 hours toward an actual major at that school. It's hard to get you 70 hours when or whatever sports you play, and you didn't take an English or a math class in a year and a half. It's kind of hard. So be vigilant if you have an athlete about, are they taking something that's actually with athletics? I haven't had too many problems with, football camp coming and, hey, we got 20 kids that haven't applied. We don't have too many problems with that.
Okay. So another question for you. Let's see here.
We don't have too many problems with that right now.
So you're like you said, you're number crunching. Your job is numbers based. How much pressure, and you don't tell us by who, but how much pressure is put on you by the administration they don't care, just get the numbers up? Is there a lot of pressure, or when you go to a situation like South Carolina State, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think their enrollment was kind of down and you have brought it back up. Is there like, hey, Stacy, can you just fix this? Or is it, Stacy, get the numbers right?
I'm really concerned about professional ethics. Right. And there's professional ethics, and then there's my professional ethics. For 40 years, right? So my standard is always, what I'm not going to do is sit in front of Maxwell and tell him I got fired because I did something unethical. So, I look at whatever problem my school has. figured out kind of some of the problems. And I went to the president and I said, look, this is what it is. This is where the problems are. Weeks I was here, I wrote a recruitment plan. I identified, the primary areas of where students came from and some areas where there was potential for growth. We've just been kind of working at to make the numbers.
Okay.
It's a lot of pressure, actually. Not so much the institution, but prior to me coming here, in somebody's job, it could mean somebody, is furloughed or laid off. So if you
right,
multiply your net tuition revenue, and that's the institutional budget for the year. And if you fall short 20 students, that's almost $1 million. And
wow.
so that is it's a lot of responsibility. So it's a lot of admissions because there's quotas and, but admissions kind of chose me and I got good at it. So but we've been able to do some really good things here at South Carolina State. I have a great staff. It ain't just me. Like, I have an awesome group of staff people. So
yeah, Stacy, I kind of saw some numbers.
Yeah.
I saw some numbers and I was kind of blown away by some of the work you have done since you kind of got to South Carolina State. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm supposed to like 200% growth, in terms of enrollment and stuff like that since,
Wow.
since you stepped foot on campus there with your briefcase. So, salute to you and the work you have done, and how you, one of the first things you talk about is just the professional ethics or whatever, how you live it. And to get a growth like that, I mean, you know what I'm saying? To salute to you and your staff, because you're reaching people that probably could have gone someplace else or just wasn't even thinking about college or whatever. But to bring those young people into a family, well, I call HBCUs family, whatever institution it is, it's a family. To bring them into a family like that and get them to go to live their dreams or whatever. Salute to you and your staff, and you're the ultimate person living. Push me and I'll pull you. At your position where you are, you're the director of admissions, the director of admissions people. You know what I'm saying? Recruitment.
Nobody without them, yo.
There's nobody without them. That is a big thing, and your numbers, you success leave clues, and you have left a lot of clues. And salute to you. You have done a phenomenal job at South Carolina State. Salute to you.
Well, and one thing I wanted to say, man, I would be remiss if I did not mention, you are basically Shaw royalty. I came in with your brother, which is how I knew about you before you even got to Shaw, because he told us all, don't try to talk to my sister when she gets here. So I came in with your brother Ruben, but your dad, Dr. Maxwell, he's one of the cogs, I will say, in just my opinion, he's one of the cogs that has kept Shaw rolling.
Oh yeah.
If you ever look at our university and you look through, they've gone through ups and downs. Dr. Sewell has always been there. He's always been there. I can remember seeing your dad walking around working. I mean, working like he might have been on the maintenance staff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that was Dean Sewell. And you didn't even really have to know him to go to him and tell him you had a problem and he was going to get it worked out. And back when I was at Shaw, they had what they call Dean's boys.
Hey,
and them guys, man, they was working their asses off. Yeah, and somebody said it in the chat right now, hired a lot of students, Dean's boys. That's what he did. So a lot of us who came to Shaw, like myself, we were first generation college. So to have that was big. So when we do have in-person meetings and I see your dad in there, I'm looking like, man, that's Shaw royalty, because that's one of the people who has kept this institution rolling. And I'm just glad that you got that bloodline. You know, you got it. And I tell y'all, man, and just to share, I hope I don't embarrass Stacy. I sent her a DM one morning because I said, Stacy, I had a dream about you last night. And the dream was that she was the president of a university. And of course she was hiring me as as general counsel for the school, but leave it out. But I had a dream that she was the president of a university. It just came to me, man. Like, you know, it's not like we have been talking every day or blah, blah, blah. It just hit me. And it was clear as day. The president of that university was Stacy Sewell. And I had to hit her. I said, Stacy, I know I don't talk to you much, but I'm going to tell you, I just had that dream, man. And that, you know, I just, you know, so if it ever happens, we're going to have this so I can play it. So you'll give us another interview. Yeah. But hey, man, that's her dad, you know, and her brother's a great guy. Ruben's a great guy. He was, you remember he was up there with us on the 7th floor when we came in 95. Yep. Mm-hmm. Actually, we were surprised when Ruben told us his dad was Dean Sewell because Ruben was up there fighting all the time.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Your father, I hadn't had the chance to meet your father at the time, right? And like Hassad says, his reputation precedes him. You know, you're like, hey man, you know, Dean Sewell, Dean's boys, or whatever. The thing that struck me about the Dean's boys, you know, was they had an opportunity to do something, and he gave them an opportunity to do something, and that's the one thing I found out about Shaw, and I'm finding out about HBCUs all over the place. They give you the opportunity. And sure. whatever that opportunity was, those boys grabbed it and they ran with it. And Dean made sure those boys was good. You know what I'm saying? And you're kind of doing the exact same thing with a broader reach as a director. You're giving people opportunities. You know what I'm saying? To do something that's great in this world. And the professionalism and the ethics that you talked about and how you do it. And it's a crazy, outstanding thing, and you come from, you know, the good people, and I guess that instilled that in you. So salute to you, Stacy. And I do see that. I do see President.
Thank you. I do want to shout out since we boys. I do want to shout them out. Like, and there was a few towards the end of his career, but they didn't just work with him, they were his other sons. And he treated them sometimes, exactly. But he treated them with love, like they were his children to him. Birthday cards, anniversary. Some of them sent my mom and dad on a honeymoon that they never had when he retired. They've been amazing to my dad and my mom.
Salute, man. That's big ups on that.
My parents absolutely wanted, you know, my mom said every time she opened the door, somebody had left something on a chair on the porch or on the table, or, you know, and a lot of it were guys that worked with him, you know, once they found out he was sick, and seeing about him in his old age. And, you know, he's an older guy now and super granddad of the year, but just shout out to the guys that work with him, and they really still appreciate him. And I really appreciate that too.
Yeah. And shout out to your mom, Miss Mary Sewell. I see a relationship with your mom on Facebook all the time. I see the stories you post, and, you know, teaching you about cooking and all the stuff. So definitely because without mom letting Dean do all of that stuff, ain't no Dean's boys. So,
right.
So shout out to mom as well. And you know, from afar, I really appreciate y'all's relationship.
Right. Yes, definitely. Mom was a big part. You know, mom was more of like his silent partner. Most people, if they've even seen her, they don't know her very well. But, you know, she's also a Shaw grad. They were in the same class.
Wow.
And, you know, she has repaired the curtains from SD Hall. You know, she definitely was right there in support.
Oh, that's big. So salute, Stacy. That's dope, yo. Like I said, I got nothing but respect for that, and that's a beautiful thing. And thank you for all the service. You come from good lineage, and you come from a lineage of service. So salute to you.
Definitely. Definitely.
You know,
Well, we're gonna move on to Coach. We appreciate you coming on. You and I had talked previously about you coming on for something else. Maybe we'll get to that if you agree to do it. We won't tell the audience, but you know who said you know what. so maybe we'll get to that at some point. We appreciate you coming on. You look great. You are what we call gussied up.
yes,
So,
she's gussy today. She looks absolutely amazing.
Should I got to South Carolina and start gussying up down there like the South Carolina people? But you look great as normal. And look, this is for all the HBC students.
I don't look like this every day. It was just
Stacy used to be a Chi-Chi. She was a cheerleader. So you can do that and still come out and make a difference and do what you need to do. Because she was a cheerleader. She is a Sarah of Alpha Kappa Alpha. That's the HBCU experience. That should be how that is how it should be. You should go to school. You should enjoy yourself. You should be able to be a cheerleader or play a sport, join a fraternity or sorority if you choose, and then come back and do what you need to do for the school because you're giving back more than anybody. And like I said, even though you're not a Shaw, this HBCU thing is a family. Right. It's a family. And one day we're gonna get you back at Shaw and Estee. But for right now, it's a family.
Hey, Stacy, thank you so much for coming on with us. Again, thank you for all the work you have done. We appreciate it. And like I said, it's a beautiful thing. Not that you went and done. You went to South Carolina and spread the wings of Shaw U. You see what I'm telling you? When you go out and do other things, you spread the wings of Shaw U and to show them that the impeccable people that come from that university. So salute to you and keeping that lineage strong about the great people that come out of Shaw U. And I do have a special place in my heart for all the AKAs of the world. That is a special place in my heart. So thank you so much, Stacy. Thank you so much, Stacy.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you.
And Sal was right. We're going to have you back. You got to come back. So you are a part of the Podcases family. So when we reach back out to you, got to say yes. There's no other way around it. All right. Thank you, Stacy.
All right. Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good week. Yo, bro, this, like I said, we can go on for hours and hours about her father and things that he has done for the university or whatever. That group, the Dean's Boys, is a legendary group, and I didn't know there were females involved with that. You know what I'm saying? So I learned something. I learned something about that. So that's dope.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, let's about 53 minutes in. Let's bring on our next guest, we got another surprise for you guys, man. Let's chime them in.
Oh, bro. This, the thing about this brother here, like I said, some years ago, I think it was like 2003 or something like that. I think it was the All-Star game that was in Atlanta. I think it was 2003. I'm not sure when it was, but I had the chance to meet Coach Hill, but you gave me a dissertation about this gentleman. I got to say, Sai gave me a dissertation about this gentleman. I've never met this guy a day in my life, but Sai, 2003, 2004, Sai came to Atlanta for the All-Star game, and we sat someplace. I don't know where we were. He clowned me about my jacket. I never forget it. But he got on the subject of Coach Hill, and he talked about your record and things you have done leading up to. And I was like, wow, like y'all got to meet this guy. You know what I'm saying? I got to meet this guy. I didn't get a chance to meet you then, but I have a chance to meet you now. And brother, I gotta say, man, the work you have done is absolutely astounding, man. And I got to salute you, my brother, before you even say a word. Thank you for all you have done and the magnificent job as a coach. I have to bring you in, Mr. Cleo Hill, the head basketball coach of Winston-Salem State University. Welcome, my brother. Thank you for spending Sunday evening with the Podcases, man. Thank you.
No, Sean, thank you, man. And as far as Chris and his dissertation,
Oh
Chris
man,
is too kind, Sean. He's too kind, man.
I mean,
He's too
let me
kind.
tell you something, Coach. It was absolutely. I mean,
Well, let me tell you why.
I gotta say this right here. I alluded this in the beginning. Sa is a HBCU Google. He's a walking Google,
Correct.
and he's a phenomenal source for Black coaching.
Okay.
And the nuts and bolts and the nuggets that he provided about your coaching career is absolutely astounding, man. So if you ever need to rewrite your biography or your coaching history, please have Sa at your side because he have nuggets you probably forgot about. So it's amazing. So Coach, thank you.
Let me, Coach, before you start, let me tell you why, man. Because at the time when I met Coach Hill, I had graduated Shaw. I think I was working at Sprint.
Yeah.
I actually met Coach. I met Coach because they came over to get some phones. Coach was assistant Coach Hopkins,
Right.
over at Shaw University. And I remember they pulled up in the white Benz. I think it was Tracy McGrady's that had T-Mac 1 on the license plate.
Yeah.
And I did not. And they were with one of my best friends. They were with Byron. And I didn't understand. Byron was kind of student assistant.
Right.
I did not understand how this guy who knew Tracy McGrady, he was, I think at the time, coaching Flip Murray. I didn't understand how this guy was so cool. Like he was like, he treated me like a human. Like, hey, what's up? From day one, he has called me C Young. Hey, what's up, C Young? And so he was just like that. And like, yo, Sean, he has never deviated from who he is. And then when I did my due diligence to find out that he was from New Jersey, he was a star over at NCCU, but his dad, Cleo Hill Sr., was a pro from Winston-Salem State University. I think he played from 57 to 61.
Correct. That's right.
His name is in the rafters. So, man, I tell you, Coach, and I ain't never told you this. When you got that job at Winston, I think I teared up. Because to me, I don't know how much better it could get.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I don't know how much better it could get than to go into the gym where your dad's jersey is hanging up every day and to do the things you do. And you don't even have to talk a lot about your pedigree or your background because you know what? If you're not doing the right things, you don't get the game with Duke. You don't get the game with Carolina. You don't get the game with Wake Forest.
That's correct.
He's one of the most ethical people, the most ethical coaches, and one of the most just pure good men that I know. And Coach know, if I call him, I'm calling him for something. It ain't no mess. I text Coach the other day, Thursday. I said, hey, Coach, when you get a second, give me a call. I hit send and the phone was ringing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's Coach, man. But that's why he can do what he does. That's why he can win CIAA championships at Shaw University. And for the people that don't know, hell, that's a hell of a recruiting. That's a hell of a recruiting burden. You got to come in this gym where we see 784 people, maybe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got to live in the old dorms. You got to do the Coach, man. If them kids would have listened, Coach probably had 3 or 4 pros. Yeah. Malik Alvin, the big boy, I forget his name. He went overseas somewhere. Coach, look, I done talked enough. Tell us how you do it and why you do it.
See, Coach, before you started, this is part of the dissertation I got, man. This is how he
got it. I see.
Yo, but Coach, the floor is yours, Coach. Salute to you.
And Karis, again, man, just you're too kind. I think starting where you in the middle of what you were saying, becoming the head coach at Winston-Salem State University, Chris, it's something that I've been coaching a long time, and it's something that never ever crossed my mind. Even, I guess the job was open a couple of times. I just never thought about it like that because, first of all, my father, you know, was a great player there, but then he also met my mother there.
Oh
Um,
wow. I
all
didn't
of
know
my
that.
godparents are Rams, and my mentor was Coach Clarence Big House Gaines, and
Oh wow.
I just put the program and the university on such a pedestal, um, and for it to actually happen. I mean, it's one thing to coach at my alma mater, North Carolina Central, but when your name is Cleo Hill, there's probably no other job in the country on any level that meets that.
Right.
So it was
Right.
just a blessing, and I'm just thankful that Chancellor Robinson and the alumni chose me.
I'm thankful too, Coach.
Thanks, appreciate it, Chris.
I'm
Yeah,
thankful
that's
too,
awesome,
Coach.
Coach.
Appreciate it.
Coach, yeah, that's awesome, man. Yo, just like I said, the way the way Winston Salem State is a big part of your life in your heart, and when you said that you got the opportunity to coach there, um, for individuals that don't, it's just not just coaching for him. It's just like part of his lineage. It's his mother and father went there and stuff like that. So coach, that is big, man. So just give me and educate everybody just a little insight on when you go out and you're looking for young men or whatever, and you've been coaching for a long time. Just give us just one of the bullet points you look for in young men to come and play ball for you.
Well, Sean, I'll tell you, it has changed a lot over
Right.
the years. Before, a lot of times it was just about statistics. You know, um,
Hmm.
what a guy can do on the basketball court. Um, now it's more than that. Um, Partly because I've matured as a coach, and partly because of Winston Salem State University. I think you got to look at the whole body of work of a young man from high school, and whether they're transfer,
Hmm.
um, what they've done at other universities, what they've done at high school, and whether it's junior college or even overseas, because we do have a couple of guys from overseas. Um, we look at their grades a lot, whether they can do the work here at Winston-Salem State University. It's way more of an academic institution than I had ever imagined. And I was on when you all were talking to Stacy about the GPAs and things like that. And coaches, they want the players in there. Look, we want to win, and sometimes a young man is not the greatest of students. Winston is really hard on that coming in,
Right.
and what they accept coming in there. If there is a young man that struggles somewhat academically, um, I have pushed sometimes and I have been denied, but then sometimes the university will trust me to have a young man under my tutelage, and under my tough love, um, and part of my staff and myself, our motivation to become a better student. We look at their background. When I go out to recruit them and I watch them in a game, I like to see a couple of things. How he reacts when he comes out of the game and they're winning by 30.
Hmm.
How he reacts when he comes out the game and they be losing by 20.
Right.
Mm.
His body language on the bench, his interaction with the coach when the coach gets on him. If I can see anything after the game, if I can see, small things like when they come in on a visit, um, do they open the door for their mom or their
Also, yeah.
sister? Just
Wow.
small things like that. It can tell you a lot about a young man. Um, and then it doesn't hurt if they can play, but it's not always the points though.
Right.
Right.
Sean and Chris, on some level, you have to have somebody that's willing to set screens and
Right.
not be mad at it. and guys that are willing to dive on the floor, and the guys willing to be cheerleaders on the bench when they don't win the starting job.
Right.
So things like that have come into play later in my coaching career than at the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I guess when you say stuff like that, that's when you talk about the small things, and I think a lot of people miss the small things. When you say you like open the doors for the mother and stuff like the sister, diving on the floor and all that, and I guess that's part of the reason why you've been successful. Everywhere you go is just that you pick the guys, that the martyr guys, I call them, the guys that just come in and really to do the hard work and just have something other than basketball in their lives or whatever. So when you go out there and recruit like that, salute to you for building your program based off those morals like that. So salute to you, Coach, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Coach, let me ask you. You were on a part of that national championship team at Central, right? Was it 1988?
You know what, Chris? Every time somebody brings that up, I could gloss over it, Chris. I could. I see the opening where I could, but no. I was on the team the year before that got to the regional final, and we lost. The next year, they won the national championship.
Okay.
I can't claim it. I could come on here and say, yeah, no, that was a great year. We won it, but no, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. So you didn't win it.
No, I did not.
Coach, when you after you finished, what year did you finish Central?
88.
And you went right into coaching, or what'd you do before?
No, and when I finished 88, I still had 2 classes to go.
Okay.
And so I went home. The scholarship is over now.
And you're from what part of New Jersey?
Yeah, I went home and worked at and that's a great story. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get into it, but I worked at Seton Hall University in their, I guess, their athletic department in their gym, and I raised some money to go back to school and finish up in the spring of 89.
Okay.
And I did not finish then because I got the opportunity to go over to Australia. So I went to Australia for 2 years and came back, and then I ended up graduating, actually walking across the stage in 94.
Okay.
That's what's up, man. Yeah.
Coach, you play guard?
Yeah.
What was you hitting them for back then, Coach?
Where? It depends. Central or overseas?
Either one, because I think I'll probably lock you up.
Hey, over there it would have been hard because I had the green light over there.
The green light?
Yeah, I averaged 40 points and 8 assists.
Oh,
Coach,
wow.
Well, let me say something.
Yeah.
So the green light, explain to people, because I get the green light. When I play pickup ball, I got the green light. I don't give a damn who on the court with me.
Coach, I've never seen this guy play anything that involves the ball. He claimed he was some. He used to claim he was some All-American DB from something to South Carolina. We've never seen him do anything regarding the ball. But go ahead, Coach.
They never saw him at all, huh?
No.
My VHS tapes got destroyed when I moved. So we gotta leave that alone there. But the green light, Coach. So you had the green light, huh? In Australia?
Yeah, no, I had the green light. I had the green light so much. Well, no, I'm not going to say I had the green light so much. I had the green light my first year. After my first year, I coached the under 14 girls team, and we won. I forgot what championship it was. Based on my playing the first year and my coaching of the under 14 girls team, they asked me to be player head coach the second year. So of course I designed all the plays for myself.
So Coach, how long have you known this is what you want to do, the coaching? Was it when you coached that team, or you just kind of had it all?
No, it was that year. It was that year I played overseas and I coached the under 14 girls team. And then I came back that summer and working in Orange Park and recreation. And then I coached another under 12 or under 14 team that summer. And then that's when I was like, wow, hey, this might be something I want to do.
Right. Yeah.
And I got my degree in health and physical education, and I was going to be a teacher. And I did some substitute teaching, but never actually had my own class. I went straight into coaching.
Wow.
Oh, that's
so. What was your first coaching job, Coach?
First coaching job was head freshman coach at my high school, Orange High School, and assistant varsity coach.
How'd you end up back down in North Carolina?
Wow, crazy story. I left Orange High School coaching and went into South Orange school system to do substitute teaching there. And Ed Butler, who really, he was the one that really pushed me into thinking about coaching at college.
Okay.
He runs a big scouting service here, and he said, "Look, come with me to this big camp. You'll meet a lot of college coaches there." And I went there, and I met this guy who came on a recruiting visit at North Carolina Central, and he was there.
Okay.
And he said, "Look, what you're doing now?" And I said, "Well, I was coaching high school, but I'm not looking to try to coach at the college level." And he said, "Man, I can introduce you to a bunch of college coaches." And so I said, "Okay, what school are you at?" And he told me what school he was at. And I said, "Well, that's a high school." And he said, "Well, look, let me introduce you to some of the coaches." So he introduced me to John Thompson and Dean Smith and Coach K. And he said, "Man, if you come coach with me, I can get you at one of those schools." I said, "All right." And he said, "Well, you got to help me train one of these players." He said, "You were the best shooter that I ever saw, and I got a player that might go from high school to the NBA."
Wow.
And it turns out to be Tracy McGrady.
I was just about to ask you that. Wow.
Yeah, no, that was Joel. Joel.
So that was Joe. Okay.
Yeah, Joel sold me on that. And
hey, it is nothing that Joel cannot sell.
No, it's nothing in the world. Trust me when I tell you that.
Wow.
Wow. So I was just about to ask you that. So you coach T-Mac?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you and coach, one of the things I kind of picked up on what you were saying. You were talking about just your grit and grind stories on how you started and stuff like that. I'm always fascinated about that and how you put in the work. A lot of time, only thing people see is the results, the success you've had, and things like that. But the bit you touched on about the grind you put in as a coach, and it's absolutely impressive to me. I haven't played ball in a while. I want to play for you. You know what I'm saying? Just the amount of the grit and grind that the blue shirt that you put on to get to where you are today. As a young man, that's fascinating to me. You know what I'm saying? I just, like I said, I'm impressed by it, and just what you have gone through to come where you are, and to put up 45. Shit, that's outstanding, man.
Well, I tell you, man, and this is and like I've been telling people, man, I've been in the the vibe now of telling people how I appreciate them. I appreciate Coach because I trust Coach. I would trust Coach with one of my kids. One of my boys was playing ball. I would trust Coach because I believe that he is one of those rare individuals who knows and loves basketball. See what I'm saying? But he also knows what comes with it, because what comes with coaching basketball at Winston-Salem State is not what comes with coaching basketball at UNC. You see what I'm saying? He's making a lot of ways, and I'm sure you can tell us a lot of stories about nights you've had to handle some shit that really wasn't in your contract.
Yeah.
Or nights you've had to do some shit you like, damn, I don't know. I'm torn. Should I go this way or that way? Or which way should I go? Because if I go the wrong way, then the university going to get me if I go the other way. But you know what? I love these kids, whether it's number 1 or whether it's number 15. Right. I can remember, and I'll bring this up. I can remember last year when 2020. Is that the last season y'all played?
Yep.
2020. When now pro Robert Cologne was in the beginning of the season, and people were saying, well, he ain't doing shit the way Cleo like it, so he's not starting. And this kid had been starting for 3 years at Winston.
Yeah.
I said, shit, Coach done put his foot down. And he ended up winning y'all the CIAA championship. But you know what? he had to get his mind right first, and you got his mind right. So I think that's the real thing about the HBCU, like what Deion's doing, and I'm not even gonna front, Coach. I'm not a huge fan of that shit because I think somebody else other than Eddie George was in line for the Tennessee State job. Somebody else other than Prime was in line for the Jackson State job. But they're shining the light on us, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're shining the light on HBCUs. HBCUs right now are hot, right? But here's the thing. You've been doing that, I know for a fact, since at least 2001. Yeah. When it wasn't hot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When nobody died, when y'all went to Philadelphia and found that kid and said, you know what, come to Shaw University. And then he set the NBA on fire, right?
Yes,
when y'all found Flip. Yes. Like, so that's my thing is like, you got these assistant coaches who have been grinding, putting in the time. And then, you know, you get a pro. What I don't want to see is pros coming to start saying, you know what, I'll take the head coaching job. Because that's not right, man. Because I know you got a staff. I know they working their asses off. Coach Beckwith, Coach Beckwith, but they working their asses off because at some point they want to be you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't want to just keep assisting. They want to be you. So, like, to me, that's the thing. Like, and I'm not saying Deion is, and I'm not saying Eddie George is, but don't use us to shine the light on you so next year you can go to Florida State because they got their ass whooped by Jacksonville State last night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Nah, man, because this thing we do, it's in your heart. You know what I'm saying? It's in your heart. It's man. Your dad play HBCU ball. You play HBCU ball. I'm gonna stop talking and ask you, Coach. Just tell me, literally, how does it feel when you walk in that gym? I don't care if it's 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and you see your dad's name. I can't imagine that, man. I just can't. You know, like I said, it almost made me tear up. I cannot imagine seeing my dad's name in the rafters, and you not even seeing your dad's name, but you got the same name.
Right. No, it's a thing. Like there is still a sense of a buzz, like it's the first day of work. Every time I come in the gym, and I tell the guys, if you see me in practice and I'm on the grind, you know how coaches can get on the grind and they're pushing the envelope every single day. If you see me not taking my foot off of the gas, it's because that jersey's up there.
Wow, yeah.
You know, I can't. You know, I just it's not something that I could do. Maybe if I was someplace else, I can relax a little bit. But I have his jersey and a picture of Coach Gaines and a picture of Earl Monroe, who was my first idol of basketball, right in front of my desk.
Wow, the pearl.
Just let me know, man. No, never ever take your foot off the gas. And I try to. My first homecoming at Winston, I remember, you know, we opened the practice to alumni. You know, they're flying in on a Friday, and I saw Earl come in there, and I'm like, oh man, there goes Earl. And you know, I had met Earl at my house probably when I was 10 years old because he and my father were good friends. They both played for Winston. Mm-hmm. And I said, I hope I get a chance just to say hello to him before he leaves out. So something was happening during practice, and I was down that end of the court, and a couple of other teammates from that 1967 national championship team were in the gym, and they were taking some pictures, and I was like, wow, that is a thing to be taking a picture with Earl Monroe.
Yeah.
And I walked past in the vicinity, not really close, maybe about 10 to 12 feet away from him. And he said, little Cleo. And so he motioned, come over here. And he was in the middle of taking a picture with somebody. He left the photo and came over and put his arm around me. And he said, look, I brought the whole 1967 team back to homecoming. We're supporting you.
Salute, Coach.
Chris. Hey, wow. I couldn't let the players see the tears, man. And it was the same way when he talked to the guys before the CIAA championship game from his hotel bed.
I listened to it. I listened
Yeah.
to that several times.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I had to gather myself. I had to gather myself. So that is the feeling that, you know, and I can't say there's been a couple of coaches at once. I can't say that they felt the same thing, but there is so much connection for me there that every day is day one.
Wow.
Hey,
That's
bro,
amazing, Coach.
let me tell you something. How you went and told that story of just meeting somebody that you kind of like idolize and all of that, and came and showed some appreciation for what the work you're doing right now. I got chills just from hearing your story, and it's funny. I heard. I mean, I heard the story, and I heard about him giving that talk to those student athletes or whatever. That is an amazing thing, you know, just to have him recognize the work you have put in. And you know, you kind of said you kind of held back a little tears or whatever, but
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah, man, and all that you accomplished, how humbled you were for that moment, man. That to me, that's a big thing, and a lot of people don't get to have that from somebody. They kind of like
Right.
how you said you were a young kid and you know you kind of idolize them and all of that, and you got this picture in your desk, man. That's big, bro, and I think that's part of your success, man. How humble you remain, you know.
Well, let me add this on. First of all, to do what you guys did in February 2020.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'm gonna give you a couple things, Coach. I don't know if you thought about it or not. Number one, God was with us because COVID ain't canceled that damn tournament.
Right.
Number two,
Definitely.
Coach. Number two, y'all was down by 11 with what? 45 seconds left.
No, down by 11 with 3:45.
With 3:40, they were down by Sean. They were down by 11 points with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. They won the CIAA championship. Coach, if that wasn't your dad, I don't know what. And I'm not saying that Fayetteville State ain't got nothing going for them. And you know, God bless them and they coach and the slick hair and all of that. But what I'm saying is, if that wasn't some kind of intervention, because I'm gonna tell you what, I was at that game, Coach, and I'm gonna tell you what, I looked at the people that came with me and I said, yeah, this shit over. You can't come back from 11. I think they had the ball. They had 11. I mean, if you don't do the exact right things, and I don't know the story, but I've heard about the story on Twitter. I've heard about the story from people that you told them in that huddle. I don't know what the hell you told them and made them come back and think that they could win that game and make them win that game. But Coach, that is one of the best comebacks, not in CIAA history, not in Division II history, not in Division I history, but in basketball history. I don't care if you had Kobe, Jordan, Shaq, Tim Duncan, and damn Sean Kemp. They might not could have pulled that off. Because all you got to do is hold a damn ball.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
y'all Coach, what did you Coach? Let me ask you a question, Coach. What did you tell those boys in the huddle?
I was about to ask them the same thing.
You had your jacket off. You had your red tie. What you tell them, Coach?
There's a backstory to that I can't say on air.
Okay.
But let's say this: I knew we were going to win the game, so I was calm. I was a little confused because I had seen that CIAA. No, I didn't see the CIAA championship. I saw a championship that I was going to win when I was out of coaching in 2016. It was a dream that I kept having. It was like over and over and over. And so I just knew that this was the dream that I kept having. But when we went down the game was close, and then we went down by 5.
Yeah.
And then we went down by 7. And I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, okay, maybe it's supposed to be next year. And then we went by 9. And when we're down by 9, I'm just confused. Went down by 11. I was like, wow, the stage is set. So when I called the timeout, it was more calmness than anything. There were some basic fundamental things that we had to do within the game, but it was just confidence on my part. And when I called that last time out, I heard somebody in the stand say, "Coach, we good. We got them right where we want them." All right. Okay, yeah, here we go. And that's kind of what it was.
Hey,
Wow.
salute, coach. That's great. You know, like I said, I've seen some stuff on the HBCU on Twitter about that whole coaching that sequence you had towards the end, that last 4 minutes. They call it the last 4 minutes, whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that's broken down is amazing. The coaching job that you did to do that, and just to have faith in your guys on the floor. And like I said, you know, I would, you know, I know one day I would love to hear a story about what happened in that huddle. But at the end of the day, the result speaks for themselves. Salute to you, coach, for that coming back and winning that with that much time left, man. Salute,
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, coach.
Sure.
For me, man, I'm sincerely humbled by you taking your time to come and share a part of your story with us. And like I said, this is my absolute first time getting a chance to sit down and talk to you. But again, the dissertation I went through with Sai when I first heard about you is absolutely phenomenal, man. And I'm not lost for words. Just how impressed I am with you, and just having you come on and spending your Sunday afternoon with us, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, bro.
No,
Hey,
so it's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure meeting you as well. And as for Chris, man, I still owe Chris from Sprint phones back in
Yeah, you do,
back
coach.
in 2001, man. I still owe him for that, man. But no,
Hey,
my
coach.
pleasure, man. When Chris told me he was doing it, and I saw a little bit on Facebook about him having a podcast, and I was like, oh, okay, Chris is branching off. And then when he called me, it was a no-brainer.
Thank you,
it was
man.
a no-brainer for me.
Hey,
Appreciate
coach, I'm a be in Baltimore in February, March, whenever it is, for the
Okay.
CLAA tournament.
Okay.
But I want to go ahead and lock you in for that championship after that after championship session right now, because we know
Yeah,
y'all
let's
gonna
do
bring
that.
one home. Let's go ahead. We're
Let's do
gonna
that.
have you on right after the championship.
Pour the Gatorade and everything. You pour the
Hey.
Gatorade on me and everything.
Hey,
Yeah.
coach, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm serious about it. It needs to be a documentary on you, man. It really does, man. It's deeper than a lot of people think.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you, your dad, Earl the Pearl Monroe, you back at Winston-Salem State, man. That's some real godly intervention type stuff, man. And the way you guys won that championship, the way you coach, the way you care about these kids, it needs to be something. I sincerely hope Winston isn't taking you for granted. I sincerely hope that you always coach at HBCU, but if you branch off, that's fine. I'm gonna follow you wherever you go. But you've always been one of my favorite coaches. You know that. You know you have been. And wherever you go, coach, I'm gonna follow you, and I'm gonna always consider that I got a friend in Cleo Hill Jr.
Salute, brother.
And that's real talk.
As the kids say, facts.
Hey, coach, thank you so much, brother. You have a great week.
Appreciate you, coach.
We really appreciate
you guys
coach,
do
man.
the same. Appreciate
All right,
you
my
guys.
brother.
All
Hey,
right.
thank you, man. Really appreciate that, coach. Man, man, like I said, just the stories that guy can put out, and what his history and everything like that. That's an amazing thing, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, question for you.
Shoot.
Who the hell is producing y'all shows to get these awesome people?
Yo, man. Hey, man, that's your department, dog. You do it, man.
Hey, dog.
You put it together, bro.
We ain't done yet.
We ain't done yet, brother. Let's keep
We ain't
rolling.
done.
Let's keep rolling. Let's roll through it.
Let me tell you what we got coming next, man. We're gonna do the viewer spotlight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we decided to do the viewer spotlight, we're doing a view because we're doing HBCUs. We're doing a viewer spotlight on somebody who has been involved with the HBCU for about 33, 34, 35 years.
Absolutely.
This is a person real special to me. This is my first cousin. Natalie. She's been teaching English at Delaware State for about 30. How many years, Nat?
34.
34 years. She went to teaching. I was a boy. I was about
22.
yeah. She was 22 years old teaching English.
Mm-hmm.
So she's still cute now. So can you imagine her 22 years ago if she's teaching English? She left our home. I'm telling you, hey, listen, Sean. Now she used to take me to class in North Carolina A&T. She's an Aggie. Then she graduated in '88. She used to take me to class. Some of these clowns used to sign my paper to say they was football players. So she used to take me to class with her. But for her, I would have had no aspirations of going to college. Now, my brother played football at A&T, but he played in 74, 75. My brother's 21 years older than me. So he played long before. But Nat was the person who taught me. So somebody was just asking me this last week. I was telling them, they said, "Oh man, you can really dress because I'm snazzy." So somebody was asking me. I said, "Well, my cousin used to tell me, Mike, because that's my middle name, Michael. She say, Mike, this is what the students are wearing." So my senior year of high school, when I graduated, I went up to Delaware for that summer, right before I came to Shaw. My grandma was mad because I was going to college. But before me and Nat left out of our house, 212 English Street, my grandma gave me a blank check and said, "Get what you need for school." Nat took me to TJ Maxx in Delaware and brought me all types of stuff I didn't know would be cool.
Right.
But it was cool. So that's how I learned, like, hey, this is what the kids, she used to always tell me, that I never forget, this is what the kids are wearing, Mike. This is what you need to wear. You need to get your pair of khakis. You need to get your pair. I'm like, what? And she taught me all of that stuff. So, but for her, she knows that she is the direct reason that I went to school, the direct reason I did most of the stuff I did in school. And she, not only me, she's helped also a ton of students at Delaware State. If I just sent her an article yesterday, it was 2 guys from Delaware State. I said, hell, if 2 of them went to Delaware State, I know one of them had you. They had to. And I was right. So she's been there for 34 years. She still teaches English. I'm still scared to tell people I know her because she's such a mean teacher. So, hey, let's bring her on, man. This is my cousin, Natalie.
Hey, Natalie, welcome to the podcast. Salute. That you know what I'm saying? There it is. Again, your reputation precedes you. Thank you.
Sean, I wouldn't exactly say that mean is the word, but that's the word that comes out because, our vocabulary sometimes our vocabulary, as broad as it can be, sometimes because of perhaps situations or who we're interacting with, those are I call them the layman words. And so that's where we are. We are at that level of mean. Not so much mean as structure. I believe going in the door, and this certainly came from my upbringing, from our grandmother, from every single teacher, from my kindergarten teacher to first grade teacher, all the way through 12th grade. And then I encountered some of the same types of teachers at North Carolina A&T as an undergraduate. That structure was what was helping to build us. I rebelled sometimes, most times not, because I found that I was very comfortable in school. I often told my mother as I grew older that I'd rather just stay in school than go to work, and so, but of course she forced me to go to work. My graduation year was 1982 from high school. I had asked my mom if I could take the year off because I was really tired of school, but she knew that I was going. I had scholarships at North Carolina A&T. Well, so my mother said yes. And so I was off. She was off one day. She said, Nat, you want to go with me out to pay bills? And I said, oh, yeah. So I got dressed. We left. We went to pay all of her bills. And then we ended up and I'm not sure if Chris knows this restaurant, but Sean may not know. It's called Parker Brothers Chicken and Fish. It was on East Market Street, right across from the admin building of North Carolina A&T and the old engineering building. Our cousin, who was my mother's first cousin, worked as the manager in that restaurant. So we liked the food. And so we went there, we were in line. And when it was our turn, our cousin was at the register and she greeted my mom. My mom's name was Hazel. And she said, hey, Nat. I said, hi. So she said, well, come around to the side door. And so I turned around because there were some people behind us. And I looked because I was thinking maybe perhaps Kay was talking to those people. Well, that was not the case. So yes, my mom agreed to let me stay home for the year to do what the kids are calling the gap year now. That was not the name back then. It was not even heard of. If you had an opportunity to go into college, then you took it.
Right.
And as Chris told us in the pre-show, he and I are graduates, are the first graduates of our family, but not necessarily, we're the first grandchildren of our grandparents on our maternal side. I was the first, and then Chris followed me. And then, of course, now we've had other cousins as well. So, but we were the first I was the first, I'm the oldest granddaughter. And then, of course, Chris came and followed as well. But my mother, in her wisdom, and this is how I know how important. First, my mom went to North Carolina A&T, majored in nursing. She dropped out of nursing school in her senior year because she met and married my father, got pregnant with my brother, and then soon after me. So she never finished her nursing degree, but she became a licensed practical nurse, which we know is an LPN. That wasn't the end of her story, needless to say, but that's where we were. She had, in her wisdom, secured me a job because she said, surely you didn't think I was going to let you not do anything in this year. I became an employee of Parker Brothers Chicken and Fish that day.
Right.
And learned how to punch a time clock that day. So it wasn't very long. In that year, I turned 18 because I finished high school at 17. I turned 18, knew I was going to North Carolina A&T, and that's because my mother said, if you want to go to Howard, you can go to Howard, but you're not going to like the community or the environment. You want to go to North Carolina Central, and you say you want to live with your aunt, you're not going to be happy living there. So she said, why don't you try A&T? I never had applied to A&T. We took one day to go up, took my transcripts from high school. I was accepted at A&T, had scholarships. I never paid but $125 for my education at North Carolina A&T. I lived on campus for 1 year, and that's what that $125 was for. So my mother said, I could see, you thought, okay, this is going to be easy. Mom said, yes. My grandmother was really upset about the decision. You thought, that's wisdom, because A&T was where I did not want to go. We had spent our entire lives on that campus. So I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to A&T, but that's where it made the best, and continues to be impression upon me. And so with that, I had opportunities after opportunities to do great things. I was very fortunate to become a TA in my sophomore year at North Carolina A&T in the English department. So I got to actually teach my peers, my friends sometimes when the professors were out. I just had opportunities, and I did not fall short of the opportunities. When Chris came along, we were 15, I think, or 16, and we were still playing spin the bottle. The night that he was born, we were playing spin the bottle and knocking on neighbors' doors and running. And I'll never forget one of Chris's coaches, baseball coaches, Handy Ladite Yates, told our grandmother on us. His mother was at the hospital having him. Our grandmother was trying to figure out. Now, I know Natalie wasn't doing it. I was always the innocent one, but I was probably the ringleader, most likely the ringleader.
Hey,
but,
look.
Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Let me tell you this crazy. So I went to Shaw, right? So after my first semester at Shaw, my grandma died January 1996. So after my first semester, Sean, I had 2 B's and 2 C's. I had 2.5 GPA. I came home. I said, oh, my family celebrated. Everybody with Natalie.
I wasn't satisfied with that.
Mikey got a 2.5. I said, man, I'm going to grad school.
No, you're not.
Hey, Natalie said, hey, I never forget. We was at my grandma's house sitting around Nat, the big ass kerosene heater in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Nat said, hey, slow down just a little bit. Hey, man.
Hey, you thought you was doing good, bro?
I thought I was killing it. 2.5? Hey, I thought I was killing. Hey, she has always been my voice of reasoning, man. She has always been able to tell me, like, No, because I never had any other standard to put it up to but her. And and to this day, I've never understood how my cousin taught undergrads at 22 years old.
Damn.
Because I know in college I would have been trying to talk to her.
Well,
You remember what was that lady's name in Shaw? Miss, what was her name? With the husband, you know who I'm talking about.
Can't find Angel 8?
No, she was. I'm talking to Sean. You know what I'm talking about, Miss.
She was
you know she was real nice looking, light skinned.
The one that was like the
her husband
like
got into it with somebody one time.
Like she was like the coach. I mean, like not a coach, but like I know there was a couple of them. So I know
you ain't gonna know.
I took a class.
It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that she was able to teach a subject as strict as crazy as English.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she good. But yeah, I think I know who you're talking about though, bro. She I think she dropped for a second here. But
Okay.
I think I know who you're talking about, man. But I get it. I think I know who you're talking about. It was one that I took a class just for her. So when we got to the class, I saw a bunch of dudes up in there, and it was a bunch of dudes. Her class started at 8:00. And it was a bunch of dudes in just because she was she was teaching class, but she's back though, Si. Hey, Natalie.
Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll tell you why I'm listening.
She's always been my even to now. That's my cousin is, and we say cousin, but we were basically raised as brothers and sisters. Right. We got a group now. Me, her brother Sean, my brother Ray Sean, my sister Michi. We were raised as brothers and sisters. We were raised next door to each other, and you know, we call each other cousins, but basically she is as close to me as one can get.
You know what, Sean? I was going to say thank you, Sean. I was going to say, you know, it's important. You said something about being 22, but I tell you what, I was just recalling this to my admin on Friday in my chair, telling him how when I came in I was 22, and he's a young guy. He's really young, and he just couldn't believe it. He said, "Well, how were the students with you?" We laughed about it because I said the first day that I walked in, I was hired on a Friday, came in on a Monday at 8 a.m. Young man in the back of the room was filled with 30 plus students, and this young man falls out of his chair, and everybody's looking back and they're laughing. So when he gets himself together, I asked him if he was okay. He said, "Sure." He says, "Are you our teacher?" You know, he's a freshman. And I said, "I am." And I said, "Let me just say this to you. I do not want to see that kind of display again in my class." And everybody's like, "Whoa." I said, "Let's just keep it down. I'll tell you who I am and how things will run." I think in that class, we called out some of our most successful, and they all had their success in different ways, but some of our most successful young men and women were in that room that day. It wasn't a lack of having a lot of attention because I was the talk of the campus and everybody knew about me. But it was the fact that when I finished that semester and those kids came back and said, in my evaluation, this right here, this woman right here is no joke. Don't play with her. You have to learn. She is not going to let you leave her class until you've gotten what you're supposed to get. It's behind the door, Jay. What you're supposed to get. I'm sorry, my daughter and my granddaughter just came in, and they were ringing the doorbell because my daughter forgot her key. My granddaughter is 4, so she may pop in a second. I babysit her at night while my daughter goes to work. So I tried to instill in them what I had learned as a child from my mother, from my grandmother, my grandfather, and we had 3 uncles, and Chris's mother was my mother's only sister and the oldest of the 5. Our family unit was this, and so when you hear Chris talk about family at Shaw, we had family at home. Right. And there wasn't anything that any one of the grandchildren experienced that everybody in the family did not experience, including my grandmother's siblings, my grandfather's siblings. Chris has mentioned our great aunt who is will be 93 on September the 28th. Our grandfather's only living sibling, his youngest sister. And still to this day, the same kind of family unit, but also sharing with us, we were taught character. So you always mention, because I'm always listening to the show about how humble Chris is. he didn't come from wealth and riches. None of us did. But you really, at some point, and without the real tough times that he experienced, you wouldn't know that we were poor, because our grandmother and our mother,
we didn't know we were poor.
We didn't know. I mean, it's so honest. We did not even know.
Hey, man, dog, I just asked my group chat, which is my sister, my brother, my cousin, and her brother. I just asked him last week, like, yo, do y'all think Uncle Von might have been depressed? Like he was 60, living in my grandma's back closet. Do y'all think he might have been depressed?
But I don't think it was depression. I think that's where I don't know if he was. I think with our uncle, he's our oldest uncle, and he was the best uncle in the world.
Yes, he was.
I mean, we cannot take anything from any of that. But I think once he came back from military service, he just stayed. And you know, really, honestly, if he hadn't stayed, you know, he was a help to them in lots of ways.
Right.
But in this state, I don't know if depression was what we could call it, because we didn't know about depression then. No. We just knew that Uncle Von was there with our grandparents. And of course, we were right next door. As he said, we lived boom, boom, boom. Right. I mean, literally walk across the yard. That's how we lived. And so I don't know if depression was it, but what I do know is what we saw that they lacked, meaning our elders, we really tried to make up for. Right. My grandfather always would tell me that I could never go work in a manufacturing plant. Chris's sister, when we call her Mitra, her name is Rachel. Rachel used to say, "Why is she so special?" He said, "It's not that she's special, but she's got another path that she has to take." Right. And my granddaddy was absolutely right, because I used to talk about my hands being dirty and the things that are maybe natural to anyone else, like my cousin. She had more money than I had, more just smart in that area, but mine was in a different direction. And my grandfather recognized that. I couldn't go fishing because he said I would think and talk the fish away from them. I was analyzing everything. I mean, why is this hook going in like this? That was me. Right. So I decided school was the best path for me, and they were not displeased with that, not at all. And then so in becoming a teacher, it wasn't by choice. I just happened to need a job. Had never applied to Delaware State, but I moved to Delaware because one of my best girlfriends had worked at A&T in the dean's office, and the dean of North Carolina, A&T, our dean of humanities, became the president of Delaware State University. So I moved with my best friend. She asked if I wanted to go, and she brought me to Delaware with her at 22. She had the job. He had created
in that little red Chevette, right?
In that red Chevette, my first car.
That little red Chevette.
That's right. He created a position for her under his new administration, but I did not have one. So I worked part-time at the CVS. I worked part-time at the Base Library, and ultimately I worked part-time selling furniture. I met the chair who ultimately hired me at a dinner dance, but that wasn't how I got the job. It wasn't even the president, Dr. William B. DeLauder, who got the job. It was Mrs. DeLauder, just in a conversation with my former chair, Dr. James Scott King, who said he was looking for an English teacher. And she said, "Well, Natalie has a degree in English." And she worked as a TA in her department from her sophomore year at A&T. That's how I got my job. He called me at the furniture store, left a message. I went on campus, just strolling through. And I walk in, I meet him. He said, "Come walk with me." We walk across the campus of Delaware State, which at that time had a road down the middle of it, and we were in the MLK, which is our student center. We walked to the admin building, went into the vice president's office, by the way, who is former emeritus, now president emeritus of Claflin University, Dr. Henry Tisdale. Dr. Tisdale was our vice president for the university. And Dr. King said, "I want to give this young lady a job." And I'm looking and saying, "Okay." He said, "Well, you have a degree in English, right?" And I said, "Oh, yes, sir, I do." He said, "I'm going to hire you for 1 year." And so I didn't know what to do. I was 22. So I said, "May I please go upstairs to Terry's office just to talk it over with her?" Terry was my girlfriend. I walked out, I ran upstairs, and I'm like, Terry, they want to offer me a job. I need to call my mama. Well, I did. She let me use the university's phone to call my mama. I got her at work. She was on her shift. And I said, Mama, they want to offer me a job teaching for 1 year. Should I take it? And my mom, in her wisdom, and Chris can tell you about Mama. She was the best. She said, baby, take the job. Because I didn't have a real job. So I went back downstairs. Terry's grinning. She's excited because she didn't know about this. And I go down and I said, yes, sir, I'll take the job. What does it entail? He said, you're going to be teaching 4
Hey, Sean.
This
she got a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Oh, no, I bought an Eclipse. So that was fine. That was my ride, though, right?
Hey, she stepped up and got that Mitsubishi, man.
She got an Eclipse, man. She stepped it up. She said, hey, Chevette has got to go. Hey, Sean, I'm gonna tell you.
I bought a Volkswagen.
Oh, that's right. She had the white VW.
Volkswagen for a year, and then I stepped up a bit.
Sean, I'm gonna tell you, my cousin is probably top 5 to party with. So when we get together, we're going to party with her. We just hung out in Greensboro about 3 weeks ago, right? Was it about 3 weeks ago? August 8th. The weekend of August 8th. When I was growing up, anytime she came home was a holiday. I don't give a damn if it was March 3rd. She came home. It was a holiday. It was oh, Natalie's home. I mean, I never got this. My mom would wait to do shit until Natalie got home. Natalie's home. I need to go out. So we said, hey, my uncle that we're talking about, used to have this girlfriend who makes this pineapple cake. Man, this pineapple cake is awesome. Right. Natalie used to hunk the cake up so bad. Natalie was like a hunker of that cake. I couldn't get her the cake. So anytime Natalie came home, it was a holiday. I was just gonna wait. When I got suspended from school my senior year, for about.
You gonna tell the whole
10
story,
days.
right?
I'm not gonna tell the whole story.
I
got suspended for about 10 days. Natalie was home. When I got to the principal's office, I told him to call Natalie. Don't call my mama. Call Natalie. I got suspended for 10 days. My mama thought I wasn't gonna graduate. She said, "Oh, me and one of my buddies were going over to another school to find girls. We had a hotel room. We were going to find girls." Natalie came and got me. She said, "Oh, what you doing? Like, can't be doing that." But hey, anything that has to do with me being past anything, higher education has to do with Natalie, because before Natalie was an English teacher, she was going to law school.
Right.
That's right.
She was the first person I know that got a master's degree.
That's right.
She was the first person I know that was teaching. She was in a sorority. She was doing all of the stuff that I had no idea about. I remember, Natalie, you remember my senior year, you had the student, James, who was at Virginia Tech, who was going to get me in some kind of master's program at Virginia Tech. Right. And I was dating a girl, and the girl said, "Oh, you need to go to Virginia Tech."
And he didn't do it. That's right. And James is actually a dean. He runs the Sean Jones Center at Ohio State University. Been doing it for years. We're still really close. But he was going to look out for my baby, because I called him.
Hey, let me tell you, she had me in grad school at Virginia Tech. She had me being good buddies with the center of the Philadelphia Eagles, Jamal.
That's Jamal Jackson.
She is, if you had to say the plug, my cousin is the plug. She supports me. She ain't even my cousin. She really like my sister. Our moms were so close, they were transparent to each other. So it doesn't make any sense, man. As you get older and you look at that kind of stuff, like, wow, man, my aunt, when she died, my aunt was 50. I used to sleep in my aunt's walk-in closet, because she was one of the first people I know that had a house. And we had a dog named Pebble, who was Natalie's dog, who she left with my aunt, who, when my aunt got sick, got left with me, and then he ran away. But anyway, this is not like one of them other cousins. This is my cousin that I love with all my heart, like my sister.
Oh, hey, Natalie, that's what I heard a lot about you. I didn't know about the Mitsubishi Eclipse though, but
it was green.
It was green.
If I think real hard. Hey, if I think real hard, Nat, I can remember the license plate, but I can't think that hard.
It was called Belize Green, and that thing was fine. That was a good car. I had that for about 11 years until it just stopped on me.
Well,
I like my car.
But that that I know Si's he's always big up his family and stuff like that. like, I didn't, he always talk about how he come from humble beginnings. I didn't see that when I became his roommate, because he had a TV. So
oh yeah, he had to have a TV. How to get the TV? I gave you one of my.
You got me the TV, girl.
Tell you something.
Hey, Nat, I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
Nat used to go to Walmart. Nat used to go to Walmart like she had a credit with the shit.
Yeah,
think about everything that they had.
Anything he said he needed, we tried. But he was right. We didn't have a lot of money, but I tell you, our family was a blessing. So that humbleness is honest, sincere, and I think that's why at 22 I became a professor at Delaware State. Just clear humbleness, not by intent, but by design.
Right.
So I used to tell my students about destiny. Don't just look at me because I'm young and you think I'm just great. It has nothing to do with just that. I worked hard, first of all, but secondly, I didn't do anything. I just was being good to people. And, I just went through this with my 50-year-old little brother. I have a young man who's a former student, he and his wife. He wanted me to adopt him as his brother. He wanted to be my sister, and he's doing super well here. But I had to tell him he's Jamaican by origin, and he likes to sell. And I said to him, you know one thing about me, Al, I don't sell anything that I have. I'll give it away.
Right.
If you say you need it, on Friday, I was on campus because I'm actually teaching from home remotely because of the pandemic, and I had some health issues. So I just decided to stay and was given that choice. I had a young man who joined my class 2 weeks ago, and I require for the course that they have a camera and a mic when we're talking. He did not have a camera. So I said, meet me in my office. I'm going to come on, do all the protocol to get onto campus, and I'm going to bring you my camera. So I took him my camera on Friday. The one that I'm using right now, I just hooked up before we got on at 6:30. That's why you can see me. I was trying to get my specs together.
Yeah.
I just bought the camera because I told this young man when I met him Friday morning in my office, I said, listen, sweetheart, when you have requirements, there are things that you're going to want to do, things you're going to think that you cannot do. But when you have a requirement, this is what I've taught students. You meet the requirement. Do whatever you can to meet the requirements. And see, he was so humbled by the fact that I took my camera off, met him on campus, and brought it to him. That's not just it. You got to meet the requirement. I believe that success, however you define it, because I really truly don't think that I've been that successful, but I think what I have done is had an impact on someone else's success. And I tell you something, there's nothing else that beats that. If you have an impact. Sean, you said your quote, push me and I will pull. I like that. I don't know if you own it, but I like that you said that. Push me and I was the puller because I pulled my students from the bottom. I had a young man who stopped me outside on Friday. He took his mask down and he just had these tears in his eyes and he just said, thank you. His name is Lamont from Maryland. He said, thank you. I had him as a freshman and he didn't do anything, but I made him do his work and I would not let him not do his work. And the young lady I was talking with was also a former student. She's just trying to figure out what this was about. All of a sudden, he just walked up, to me, and I was leaving the building. And I told her, he's just thanking me. That's his way of thanking me. Because if it were not for my pulling him and that pushing that I did, he would not still be at Delaware State University. Those things are what have made me who I am. I have not reached the highest pillar in my career. I've just done little bitty. One of my deans described me as the trenches person. And
let me add something because you said you don't think you've been successful, but I would say you've definitely been successful because when you are making an impact on people, that is success. We try to measure success in so many different ways, whether it be money or items you gathered, but it's successful because let me tell you, but for you, there is no me. I can tell you that directly. I can't tell you like, kinda. I can tell you that directly because as you get older and you say, there's two things that I look at. When I look at the fact, and I'll tell everybody, the other day, I was talking to my therapist and she said, I said, man, sometimes clients get on my nerves. And she said, things are so bad. I said, no. I said, listen, what the fuck? What are you talking about? I said, my mama cleaned up for people.
Right.
She ironed their clothes and shit. So I got 2 cars. I'm looking out of my condo and deciding which car I want to drive because I got money to put gas in either. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that, oh man, life is great. You see what I'm saying? But when I think about you, and I think about you leaving South English Street, you didn't leave Irving Park. You left South English Street and you went to Delaware. You didn't know nothing about Delaware.
That's right.
And you moved up there. So that gives people courage. So for me to be able to gather courage from you to say, man, I'm going to do what I got to do. Because there's been a lot of days that I was in D.C. and my mama didn't know if I was the prosecutor or the defender or what the kind of lawyer I was. And for me to be able to call her at 10 o'clock when she got up and say, hey, Mom, I'm going to court. And she said, okay, well, do your best. That's all you need. That's all you need. Bro. It's not saying like, hey, I need, no, all you need is that person. So the courage that you had to have to say, because we had a great family, but we were a Greensboro family. I'm not talking about all of our family. I'm talking about the immediate family. For you to say, you know what, I'm gonna step out. I'm going to Delaware. We don't know shit about Delaware. We ain't never been to Delaware. We don't know nothing about Delaware. For you to say, I'm going up there and I'm gonna do my thing. That is pushing me, which is going to turn cause me to push people. Because when you think about it, that your granddaughter Hazel, she's not gonna grow up like us, right?
That's true. That's true.
So you have to, what you got to teach Hazel is humility, right?
That's right.
Because my boys are not gonna grow up like us. We're not gonna be, because you know what? You can't teach that struggle. No. You can't teach it. You can't teach them to say, hey, you know what? You in the hood, this is how you do. Your cousin might do this, your cousin might. Nah, you can't teach that shit. So for your cousin to learn that struggle, I mean, for your granddaughter to learn that struggle, and you to teach her, you know what? Treat people equally.
Right.
Treat people with humility. Right. Be as nice as you can. Give them everything that you can to give them the benefit, because you know what? Maybe Mikey was late because Uncle Vaughn wouldn't get up and take him to practice, because out of 7 people, he's the only one that got a car.
Hey, bro. You guys have an incredible story, and just about how, like I said, I have a collateral of Si's family unit. You know what I'm saying? Just getting to know him all these years or whatever, and how he introduced me to people, and just seeing how the support he had, whatever, you know. It's an incredible thing. I can see it. Natalie, I sincerely thank you for coming on and sharing, you know, your backstory and just the things that you have accomplished and what you're doing. And you are the epitome of push me and I'll pull you. And I think those students will, if they don't see it now, they will remember it down the road. And so thank you so much for rocking with us and telling us about your story.
Oh, you're welcome.
And say hello to your granddaughter in the back over there.
Hey, Hazel.
Hazel, have a night. All right, now she's shy.
Hey, so Natalie, have a wonderful evening. We sincerely thank you for coming on. God bless you, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Natalie. All right, you have a good rest of your week, and enjoy your Sunday, okay?
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
All right. Hey, my brother. Hey, man, outstanding, brother. Great work, my man. You know, just like I said, we can go on for hours with each individual that shared their story, to share the impact of what they're doing with HBCUs and how they affect the students there. It's an amazing thing. We're going to have to circle back around and do this, because there's a lot more meat we got that's left on the bone for this. You know, the different aspects of the HBCU and how it comes together and help people from children to men and women. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, bro. Hey, I definitely enjoyed this one, man. I might have got a little too personal for people. I'm sorry if I did.
Hey, bro, that's just what it is, my brother. Hey, man, you got anything else you want to say to the humble people of the podcast nation, bro? Before we wrap it.
Next week we got some more fire.
Ooh,
come on back,
man. Hey, my brother. Hey, thank you for everybody who's been rocking with the cases. 19's in the books. 20 is up next. Thank you for everybody. Hey, my brother. Have a great evening. Have a great night. Salute to everybody. Much love. You know what I'm saying? Anything else, before we wrap it, bro?
Hey, peace, bro.
All right, brother. Everybody have a good night. Thank you. God bless y'all. Good night. Salute.
Peace.